Good evening. Welcome to the latest edition of Storm Report. I'm Chris Sipperly, co-owner of the Southern Vermont Storm, as well as the general manager. I'm joined by James King, the owner of King's Aspect, and we wanted to kind of get a chance to kind of catch up with him since about a few weeks ago we decided to work together on a mutual partnership to kind of move us towards 2024.
Yes, sir.
So with that, I want to kind of get the guys and the followers kind of knowing, who you are, where you came from, where you're going, and where you hope to be.
Okay.
So the first question out of the box is, where'd you grow up?
So I was born in Brooklyn, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was born in Brooklyn. I lived there for a long time. It was just me and my mom. And I moved to upstate New York because it got a little rough down there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of stuff you got to go through.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's why I grew up in this movie upstate, and then that's kind of where I got more into like the outdoorsy kind of stuff, like hiking and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I wasn't athletic like at all. You know what I mean? Like I didn't play any sports. I didn't really know anybody up here. Just kind of like an isolated kind of thing, and that's kind of, we traversed up here and just kept growing from there. You know? Yeah.
Now, from what I remember, at least being for the first time, you have a track background a little bit too, right?
Yeah. So actually, I picked up track. I originally picked it up. Come one day, you meet the girls and all the cool guys. Everybody want to join the team.
Yeah.
And it kind of traversed into, okay, I don't like losing.
Yep.
So then you started training. I took a whole summer, and I woke up every morning at 4 a.m. And I was going to run 2 miles, and 4 miles, and 6 miles. And then I went to strength and conditioning training and kind of go from there. So I went from being overweight and slow to being, a state champion as far as track and field in the same year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then that kind of traversed into me running D1 at Albany, and then that traversed into me running professionally track and field. So, yeah.
No, I remember you saying that because when we first, just kind of takes us into the next part of it is kind of want to talk about like how we kind of got to know each other over the last year and a half. So how did we kind of get started? Like how did our paths cross?
Oh, good. I like trying new things, and I remember I never want to leave a stone unturned, and I was like, I want to make sure that I can, go through every process, but I gave it everything that I could try. So I was like, I gave track and field the most I could. I went as far as I wanted to go in boxing and all these different things. And I was like, let's try out football. And I remember, I forgot which year players.
Junior.
Yeah,
he's from Hudson.
Yeah, shout out to John. Yeah. He was saying he was on the team, and I was like, this sounds kind of cool. So I messaged you. You were very gracious to bring me on. And to come out the first day, ran some routes, and I'm like, gosh, dang, this is the first time I did this in a while. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I didn't really play in high school like that. You know what I mean? But it's like I always had the mentality for it.
Now, when you started, going in terms of college, like you said, you went to Albany. Like, what was that process like? Did you have a bunch of different opportunities that were presented, or was all be like, all right, I would like to go here? Like, how did it all kind of come together?
See, my process was I had no opportunities. You know what I mean? Like, it was actually probably the more adversities, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Like, the issue that I was running into is, like I said, I waited till my senior year of high school to really get everything going. So had no background in a lot of things.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, it's like my grades weren't the greatest because like I had so much stuff going on, taking care of my family, different stuff like that, that I didn't have the opportunity necessarily to, train that way.
Gotcha.
And everybody was like, oh, sports might not be for you, maybe not go to college, maybe D1's definitely not it.
Right.
So I was like, okay, bet. You know what I mean? And then I just had this, what I call like a sickening work ethic of like, all right, I'm gonna get up every morning. You guys are trained at 6, I'm gonna get up at 4. You guys are trained at 4, I'm getting up at 2. I'm just gonna outwork you guys. Because you guys got time and talent on me. I'm just gonna outwork you guys. And that's what I started doing. And then I said I had to work my way. I had to be a walk-on at Albany. And for people who don't know how hard it is to be a walk-on on a D1 team, is their roster's already entirely full.
Right, because of college scholarships and returning players.
So the roster's returning players, scholarships, and then they have everybody they pick out. So like they have people coming from Jamaica, Puerto Rico, and places. And then on top of it, they had, I think, 320 tryouts after that, trial members after that.
Jeez.
So my goal was I got to beat one of their number 1 guys. If I could beat one of the number 1 guys, or at least come close to being one of the number 1 guys, that's the way. I wasn't in panic mode, but we got the job done. You know what I mean?
Where do you think the drive comes from? Like, is it? It must come from within at some point, right? Like, is there someone that like you looked up to, or was there somebody in your life that like, all right, this person kind of showed you the way, or it always just kind of come from your own motivation?
I mean, I feel like motivation always gets started by something, but it has to be continued by yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I get like hype off like some of these crazy videos you see online, or like these stunts of CT Fletcher, all these crazy big bodybuilders and all different stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's like that's cool, that'll get you up out of bed, but what's gonna actually get you running?
Right.
And that's something I had developed on my own. You know what I mean? Like I was literally watching YouTube, and this is when I was still overweight. I had the phone propped up on my stomach, and I was like, and it said like you've been watching it for like an hour or something like that, and I was like, damn, I'm watching YouTube for an hour. If I had worked out for that hour, I could have lost the weight. I could have, been happier. Could have been less depressed. Could have been this, that, and third. Yep. So I dedicated that hour, and then I dedicated every hour after that towards something, And I feel like that's where it came from. Then it just became a building block. Because like it's not an overnight thing. It's not always fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I used to tell like some of my roommates who think I was crazy. Like you don't want to get out of bed at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. It's snowing, it's raining, it's this, that, and third. Yeah. And I just used to go for runs. So I literally cut out all the excuses that I possibly could have. I literally would flip my sheets, roll out of bed, and hit the ground. Yeah. And you gotta get up. Yeah. That's the only option. You know what I mean? I left my shorts right there, put my shorts on. I was like, not even brush my teeth, we'll go for a 2-mile first. Yeah. We'll go for a 2-mile run. When I come back, I brush my teeth, I get ready to eat this, that. By the time that 2 mile, I guarantee you refreshed and you awoke.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
It's like, it's, I don't know how to kind of, put it in perspective, but it's like taking a cold shower, but times however many to be equal to that. Yeah. So you've been, not to get to where you are now, but like leading up to here, like what did you, on a professional level, like what were you trying to do, or were you always just kind of continuously gravitating back to what you're currently doing?
So it always, the ironic part is I went to school for criminal justice. I wanted to be a lawyer, right? And my thing is I wanted to help people. That was my biggest thing. Yep. Right. And I went really far, so into law school and everything, and I realized it's not for me. By the time you help people in law school, they're already gone. Right. You know what I mean? You can get them out of situations, but there's still so much going on. Sure. So I wanted to catch them before, right? And I realized it's a process, right? It's physical, because people can see it. You can see your physical change. Then your mental changes with it, and your energy, everything kind of falls in line with that. So then that's when I opened the gym, 2.5, almost 3 years ago, the one in Hudson. Yep. And started building from there, because if you can see a physical change yourself, you'll feel the mental. The mental starts connecting. And then you realize, if I can do this, if I can train an hour a day, if I can be regimented to do this, then that goes into their work day and their work life, and they continue to do that day in day.
Oh, definitely. And like the thing, like for me, again, I'm no, great example of it, but like it all, it always comes down to work ethic and habit. Like,
100%.
Like we all have habits. Some are good, some are bad.
Yeah.
So the question is, at least for me, like what can we do to kind of get better every day? And you that's kind of like, when we spoke about, because I know we had a previous relationship in terms of, being involved with the team, and, I've always looked up to you, in terms of like how hard you work, and the fact that everything you have, it has been worked for. So it kind of like, as soon as we kind of reconnected about a month ago, it made nothing but sense to kind of like try to work together, because you're a stand-up guy, you're a super hard worker. And I feel like, and we talked about this before, like the biggest thing is, for me as an owner, it's not easy owning anything. Yeah. And like being able to work with people that legitimately have, at least I hope anyway, I think you passed me on this, but you have a very strong work ethic. Yeah. And like working with people that have, strong work ethic, good values, and quite honestly, really care about the people that you're trying to help.
100%.
So with that being said, that kind of takes us to the next part, where we've just started to discuss about working with your company, King's Aspect. Now, can you kind of like give a brief overview, like what your goal is as an organization?
So like the purpose in King's Aspect, and the reason I even begin with the title, besides the fact that it's my last name, is I believe that like each person should have mastery of their domain. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's sometimes the hardest job, right? And it's like you literally have the opportunity to control everything within your own. You control who stays in the kingdom, who leaves the kingdom, where the trees grow. It's all your choice, right? And once you accept that you have that choice, there's certain things we can't change. We can't change our parents, where we're born, this and that. You can't change any of that stuff in the past, but you can change everything going forward. You know what I mean? And I really feel like I want to give people the power back. I feel like we kind of got signed up for this game of life that seems almost powerless sometimes. Yeah. Because it's like, oh, you have to do this, you have to do this. And I always notice in the difference, I do speeches for, kids, for motivation speech for kids, business, jails, all of our goal, right? And it's so interesting that you see like kids are so inspired,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, I want to do this, I want to be an astrophysicist, I want to do this, I want to do this. And it's like life and other people who can't achieve it literally beat you down until when you get to that place, they're like, this is all you should be doing. A lawyer is fine, just get your bills paid, and that's what happiness is.
No, you're right. You know? You know, as a dad, I feel that sometimes, and like, you know, I do what I do, and you know, I'm glad I do what I do, but you know, there are some things that I wanted to do, but you know, sometimes other people's expectations tend to change your excitement on some things.
100%.
And that's the challenge. Like with my kids, like I want them to you know, do anything they want to do, and try not to I don't want to say crush their dreams, but you know, I don't even know like how. You're right. You're right. That's a big challenge, but you know, that's again another thing that you kind of I think are really good at too is motivating people.
Yeah.
Like one of the things that I see even in my personal life is sometimes just taking that first step and just and then you know realizing that okay it's the first step of many.
100%.
I read a quote out there on the board. I don't know who wrote it, but we're here at the I-65 gym.
Oh yeah, I agree. 365.
Yeah.
Shout out to Matthias
Yeah.
for giving us opportunity platform.
And a huge help. But I think it said something to the effect of you don't eat a seed planted, you don't eat the food today. Something along those lines. And that's the truth. Like nothing worth anything happens without work.
100%.
And it isn't, you know, the best example that I can give is you like Thanksgiving turkey or a TV dinner.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It's two different things.
100%.
So
preparation.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So, you know, with that, you know, moving forward to the next step, we've discussed about what we'd like to do together. And I kind of want to talk about that just a little bit. So, James, it appears as though we're going to kind of put together a training program for some of our guys this coming season, off season.
Yeah.
Probably, you know, getting into around the first of the year until, you know, a few months after or before we start to practice. What are your goals and what do you hope to put together for this group to kind of help them get to where they want to go?
See, that's where I get ready your passive wording. What we're going to do is,
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? We're gonna kick their asses. Excuse my language. You know what I mean? But we have to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I see the effort and energy you're putting into it, and they need to reciprocate that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if you're creating a platform, if you're giving them the opportunity, if you're giving them the energy 24/7, they need to give it times 10. You know what I mean? Like it's a privilege to be here. We don't need you.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what people don't realize.
No, you're right. That's been a challenge for us.
Yeah, they think, okay, because you're an all-star player that's out there that you can't be seated, that you can't be kicked off the team.
Mm-hmm.
If you're putting this much energy, they should be putting this in. They should be in the gym. Mm-hmm. We all know you got kids. Mm-hmm. They got work. They got this. They got that. They still have time. Get up earlier. Go to bed later. Stretch. Watch some film. Do something. There's so much more we can do. Mm-hmm. Especially when I was talking to you about like where I can see this going. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's like they have to be even hungrier. Yeah. This is not hey, there's some open rec league. We're playing for fun.
No, not anymore. I mean,
you know
there might have been a time, but we're well beyond that.
Yeah, it's not we're out in the courtyard as kids playing tag anymore. This is some serious stuff. You're investing time, money, energy. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And time is something you never get back. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna waste time on people who are not gonna give me the same time. You know what I mean? Like I used to work with like some real high end clients like Manhattan, some of the owners of like super large companies. Mm-hmm. I'll turn them down. Right, if you're not putting the energy, I don't care about the money. I care about the time that you're putting in. You know,
that's the truth. And again, it's every time we do these interviews with people and we talk about the team, it kind of slides off into what we did this year. And this year was taking a year off. And the biggest driving factor, and I hate talking about it, but it's important to hear. The reason why we took the year off is we were putting so much energy into a product that we truly believe in, and we're having or have had trouble in the past having people match it.
Yeah.
And like being, for them and for us to work together, that just magnifies the necessity for the energy, period. Like, it's just really about growing the energy and sacrificing and doing things that you haven't done before. Therefore, you're going to achieve things you haven't before.
Exactly.
So I'm really excited to be able to, work with you and your knowledge and abilities. So, with that being said, for anybody that is, going to be hopefully enrolled, meaning working with us, what are your suggestions and what are your expectations to kind of get them started?
Hopefully stuff.
All right, I got it. When?
Yeah, when people
Yeah.
sign up,
Yep.
they're gonna get not only the top tier training, they're gonna get structured, they're gonna get regimen, and they're gonna get the energy that they deserve.
Yep.
They're gonna get the time, they're gonna get extreme training,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? And learn how to not only take care of their bodies, but then also apply that to real life application. You know what I mean? Because the gym is cool, but this also applies to real life. You know,
Right.
that's it. That's the same thing. If you go across from a person who gets $30,000 a year, person makes $30 billion a year.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same exact regimen. It's the fact that they're putting in the amount of time, right, and they're regimented.
Yeah, no, you're
You know what I mean? I've met some huge billionaires, and they're literally they're working harder than people that I've seen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who think we made it?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. You only made it for that day.
Yeah,
That's
you
it.
know what I mean?
You know, and that's the thing. Like, you know, as they say, the rents always do. Like,
It's always due.
yeah.
A lot of my friends, like even back in down Miami, and I'm like, it's 3 a.m. I'm up here. I got a question. Everybody doing at 3 a.m. Like 3 a.m. They're in the gym already.
Yeah.
Seriously, you know, they're in the gym. By the time 7 a.m. comes, they're already out the gym. They got their day started.
Yeah.
That's the mentality we gotta have.
Oh, 100%. And like that's the thing. Like, you know, you touched on it. This is life, or this is the game of life. Like, whatever you do in terms of training and or football or whatever, like it should translate to your personal life.
100%.
Like it. I'm blessed to be able to be part of this part. You know, part of the team is because I'm able to kind of like remind myself of the needed work ethic, and remind myself of, you know, just doing the right thing. And making sure that the energy is where it needs to be, because nobody, you know, it's hard to maintain energy. So the last thing you want to do is come in with a lack of energy, because that's when things start to change. And like that's like for me, that for us, in terms of, you know, working with you, there's no question that energy exists.
100%.
But everyone also has to understand is, like you said, nothing is right. Everything's a privilege.
Yeah.
So it goes away as soon as it's given. Like it's, you know, we're not going to do this if people aren't willing to match the energy.
You gotta earn
that's,
it.
Yeah, that's
you have to earn it. You know what I mean? Like I remember Kobe said, he was like, I will not negotiate with myself. And they're not gonna be negotiating not only with themselves and making excuses as to why they can't do this or can't do that. I want to hear how you can.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's been times, like I just said, I told you I did my first powerlifting competition.
Yeah.
Everybody else had 28 weeks to train. I had 9. So I had to double it. I was training 7 to 8 hours a day. You know what I mean? I trained for 4 hours. I go home, eat during the workouts, then come back, work out again. You know what I mean? And that was for 9 weeks straight. You know, there's times you want to give up the reps, you want to give up this and that third, but you just keep pushing forward, you keep persevering. You know what I mean? Yeah, and I like, every time the coach assigns like a weight or something, I'm gonna go higher. This is his expectations, I'm gonna go higher than that. I don't care if I get stuck at the bottom, I'm not. Like, I don't want a spotter. I don't take my advice.
I understand what you mean.
Yeah, I don't want to. I literally didn't. I was not getting a spotter, right? Because now this is life or death to me, right? If I can't stand up for this,
sink or swim, man.
Yeah, 100%. And that's when you persevere. Like I remember I was squatting the other day. It was like, I don't know, it was like 450, 500, something like that. And I got to the bottom and I was stuck. Most people would have called somebody or dumped it this time because I'm standing back up. Like that's my only option. You know what I mean? Or get squished.
That's the thing. You know? I think that's, you know, a lot of people, and it's just people mindset in general. Like nobody's gonna save you.
Yeah.
Like you are your number one asset.
100%.
Like, and you could also be your number one adversary.
Yeah, that's
you know?
exactly it.
So it's just, you just got to keep banging away, and we look forward to, you know, putting that together this year.
It's gonna be a thing of beauty. Yeah, as long as we follow through, 100%.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
It's a pleasure, brother. Thank you for your time.
Absolutely.